Like the drive-through?
Yeah, like the
I hate when people do that. Just
why?
It's stupid.
I'm here to pay for myself,
Yeah.
man. Right. Like, yeah.
No, I don't want to pay. No. I
don't want to pay for the order.
I just get out of line and don't do it.
Right.
Just like, I don't even want my food anymore.
I'm a single person.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for the minivan behind me.
Don't give me my food anymore. I'm out.
I get it. I get it.
I'm going to the next town.
Right.
Well, welcome back to the When I Heard This podcast. My name is Nate Robinson. I'm here with Pastor Dr. Joseph Tillman, Demon Jr. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well, my man. Had a little MRI this morning.
Cool.
And I have one every year to check my pancreas. And but yeah, so
is it still there?
I don't know, man. We'll find out the results in the next few days. Okay. So we'll see.
Can't you just get rid of that thing?
No, well, you can, but that's really bad. Like, it leads to all kind of massive complications.
It's not like a
gallbladder
or what's the other one?
Appendix,
right?
Yeah, you can remove those guys.
Okay.
And, yeah, but no,
because of evolution.
Right, just because of evolution. Actually, I don't have my gallbladder. So
Really?
I've had it removed.
Oh, I've got everything.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's very good. Yeah, but your pancreas is, I mean, it produces the enzymes that break down fats. It produces the sugar, or it helps you have that stabilized blood sugar levels. Insulin. Thank you. And it produces all kind of things in you that help you actually have energy and that kind of stuff. And so when you remove it, it creates massive issues, especially with blood sugar related things.
Do they not have robot ones now that you can put in there?
There is no robot pancreas yet.
Okay.
So pretty awesome if there was.
You should start a foundation.
For the robot pancreas?
Yeah.
Okay.
The RoboPank Foundation.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RoboPanky. All right, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on.
In the pancreatitis world, that is often how the pancreas is referred to.
Right, the RoboPanky?
not the robo.
Really?
No.
Doc,
the other.
My
yes.
RoboPanky's been acting up.
Yeah.
Real bad.
No, but Panky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Need some ints.
Yeah. So anyway.
The Panky?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gross. Okay. Oh, boy. Read the ad again.
We got to do something. Here we go.
Oh, we're doing works a lot this episode.
All right.
Read the ad again.
Before we get started today with our questions, we want to shout out our sponsor, the Discipleship Group. The Discipleship Group is a systematic training for Christians who want to go deeper and grow stronger in their relationship with God. In these courses, Dr. Jay Zen brings you over 4 decades of study, pastoring, and teaching to equip the saints to make disciples. The Discipleship Group is a series of 6 books, each book consisting of 26 weeks. Therefore, it's 3 years of study. Each week has articles written by the author to read, a chapter from a supplemental book like The Passion for God or More Than a Carpenter, The Master Plan of Evangelism, and there's scripture readings each week from the Old Testament, New Testament, and the Psalms. I've used the Discipleship Group resources for over a decade. I've used them in groups of 2 to 3 people. I've used them in small groups up to 12 people. And I can tell you, as a pastor, as someone who spends a lot of time making disciples and meeting with others, that the Discipleship Group resources are the best that I have found for growing in our faith and for encouraging us to go and make disciples ourselves. Go to discipleshipgroup.com, check out their resources, find out information about Dr. J, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
Congratulations on another successful ad read, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. Go there and you can help support us. And we're getting close to the summertime.
Yeah.
And
True.
So it's a good time to update stuff for us, maybe. So, a little help with the Patreon would be great.
It gets hot down here and stuff could break.
Yeah. Yeah, you just never know.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Also, we just love money.
Is
A
that,
lot.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's why we do this thing, right?
We're greedy shits.
Because we're just rolling in it over here.
Right.
Right.
And we want more.
Yeah, because
Constantly, always.
always. Because I mean, between our careers, the podcast,
Yeah.
I mean, we are making
My fat cat lifestyle.
I mean, so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have that dollar bills, y'all.
Or something. Yeah.
Website.
Same thing. We want money.
Yeah.
No, not really. But it is
social media.
But back to the website.
Yeah, okay.
It is getting close to summer. Get some stuff for the summer. Go to the website. Find some merch. All
Tank
right.
tops.
Yeah.
When I heard this one.
Man, come on. What you talking about?
Right?
That's awesome.
You can wear them to the beach and throw around a frisbee.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, a frisbee was what I heard. This. I mean.
Oh,
come
maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't look at our own website.
on.
It's managed by my wife.
Right.
So.
And we thank God for her.
Yes.
So, because if she wasn't managing it, it would be a dumpster fire.
We are disasters
Right.
without her.
100%.
If she wasn't around, the only thing that would happen was that audio would get uploaded to Spotify,
Right.
and I wouldn't know how to upload it anywhere else.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
all right, but yeah, and go to on social media. Whether wherever you listen to your podcast, and go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the stuff, and like, subscribe, share, comment, follow, ring notification bell, and man, let people know about us. That would be awesome.
All right. Well, works this time.
Yes, sir.
Probably a lot of it.
Probably.
Okay. Except that the first, I'm going to probably say faith before I say work. I just did it.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question is, what is more important to God?
Okay.
Picking up from last time.
Right.
What is more important to God, faith or works?
What's more important to God? All right. So Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 says, "Now without faith, it is impossible to please God, since the one who draws near to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him." And so I think it would be, so if it's impossible to please God without faith, I think it's fair to say that the most important thing is faith.
Okay, but what about all the atheist people that say I can do good things without believing in religion?
Sure. And that's kind of part of it, right?
Okay.
If you're asking, like, what does God think is the most important thing? Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who are out there doing, they do good things for society, right?
Okay.
And so there's, it's not saying that only Christians can do good things for society. So there are people that do things that are good, they're helping people.
Okay.
And so I think that's why when you ask the question, is it faith or works that's more important to God? Well, the only thing that pleases God, it's impossible to please God without faith.
So are those works like worthless to God? Like if I do good stuff, but I don't believe in
Him,
Jesus, like is there any benefit to that for me at all? With Jesus,
with Jesus, there's the benefit of that you've cared for some of His creation.
Okay,
but in terms of like any kind of personal gain that you have, or personal thing that you might get from Jesus, that's not there. So,
okay, but then that would be like, there's a bug flying around.
Really is.
But then that would be like, okay, so do I only do works for God and not for
others?
And not for, or I mean, do I only do works for myself so I'm good with Jesus?
Right. No, I wouldn't want you to do that either.
Okay.
So in 1 Corinthians 13, this is what's interesting. Because in verse 2, it says, "If I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing."
Okay.
And so
you keep throwing other buzzwords into these questions, and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? You're like, why do I have to love anyone now?
Right. And so that's kind of like when you ask a question like, is it just all about me? Well, if it's all about you, then that's a lack of love, right?
Love towards who?
Love toward others.
not love towards Jesus.
Yeah, well, I would hope that there would, like, for someone, so a person of faith, if
Mhm.
they have love, that love would need to be both toward God and others,
Okay.
right? I mean, that's the great commandments, right?
Okay.
The Shema is, in Deuteronomy 6.
The what?
The Shema.
The
Okay.
Shema?
The Shema. It just means hear or listen, O Israel.
Okay.
Lord your God is one.
Seriously, I know I said this a long time ago, probably.
Right.
But like, you say these words, and I don't know if they're pagan things. like could have been Indian for all I know.
That's
Yeah,
fair. That's fair.
Like, you know.
Yeah, so it's from Deuteronomy 6. That's just the Hebrew for listen, or hear. That's what the word means. And so in Deuteronomy 6 it says, "Listen, O Israel," or "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one." Okay? And then it says, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your strength."
Okay.
All right? And so Jesus quotes that as the greatest commandment, and he says, and likened unto that is love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay.
Okay?
What if I don't love myself?
Boy, now we're getting a whole different topic. I mean, no. I think that's a legit point too.
Okay.
Like, if you don't love yourself, I do think it is going to be difficult
For me
to selflessly love others
and do works for them.
Yeah, because often if you don't love self, when you do works or those kind of things, you're probably hoping more than anything that you'll get some kind of recognition,
right,
or love back to affirm yourself that you are loved.
Okay.
And so then it ends up being like this vicious cycle of kind of self still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I don't do any of those things, if I don't love anyone, if I don't love myself, if I don't love God, and I don't have faith, then any good things that I do for anybody else is only good because it helped somebody else.
Correct.
And does nothing at all for anybody other than that.
Yeah. So right where here it says in verse 3 of 1 Corinthians 13, right, is, you can give away all your possessions. You can give over your body in order to boast, but you don't have love. He says, I gain nothing. And,
okay.
And so, that's the reality, is like, I don't gain anything. Now, the individuals who receive possessions or are the beneficiaries of my good works, they receive something, right? And they may benefit them in some way.
Is it different? Okay. So if a Christian faith having Jesus and others loving person does a work for someone else, does that feel different to the person who benefits from my work than if I don't love anyone or myself or Jesus or or don't have faith? Like, is that work more important to them?
I see. I think it all depends on probably the interaction you have with the individual. And what I mean by that is, like, if it's just like, okay, I'm writing a check for $50,000 and handing it to someone, right?
Yeah.
They're probably not going to overly care.
You don't have $50,000.
Not to just hand to someone, no. And so if there's, so an individual receives the check, right?
Sure.
They receive a check, and I think if it blesses them, in other words, now they're able to, whether it's get out of debt or whether it's to, pay a medical expense or whatever, right? Like, I think they're going to be grateful to that individual regardless of the motive of that individual.
Okay.
So the way they're going to receive that is with gratitude. But I think that if an individual is doing more than just handing the check, maybe, if there's a sense of them interacting with that individual and showing care and showing empathy, that might be different,
Okay.
But at the end of the day, does it change the fact that this individual felt cared for by someone else, regardless of that other person's motive, right? They still felt cared for because now they're able to have this to pay off that medical bill or get out of debt or whatever it is. And so I do think that's so I think those kind of things when it's like that, but I do think other times when you are showing love, when you are showing care, and it's a more personal interaction between them, I do think there could be a difference there.
What works does God want me to do?
All of them. No.
Also, is there a list in the Bible that I could, read down and just get them all out of the way right now?
Just check them off right now.
The work it list.
If you could just do all of it, right? So in Galatians chapter 5.
Okay.
this is what the Lord would say. He says, for the whole law, so chapter 5, verse 14, for the whole law is fulfilled in one statement, love your neighbor as yourself. And I think that really kind of, so I don't think there's a list to answer your question. There's not a list that you can just check down and go, well, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. All right, I've done all the good works, and that's that. It's just that when, I think when the opportunities present themselves to you is really more of the issue than like, I have a list and I did this and this and this. Or I think the worst thing in the world we could do is even compare ourselves to others and say, well, they did all these things, or, well, I've done more things than this person, so I'm doing more works.
Okay.
So that's better. I mean, that's just a whole terrible way to look at it anyway. But I think the opportunities that we have that present themselves to us are the opportunities for our works, And so, in other words, like, so in James, for example, in James chapter 2, it says that, verse 14, what good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but does not have works? Can such a faith save him? For if a brother or sister is without clothes and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, stay warm, be well fed, but you don't give them what the body needs, what good is it? So I think that's kind of the point. It's like when you have these opportunities to do good works, you have an opportunity to express love to your neighbor, then take those opportunities as they come. And you can always, and obviously, if you have the resources of whether that is of monies or job skill sets or time to be able to, you can actively look for ways in which you can love your neighbor too.
Okay.
So yeah, there's not a list, but I do think that every time we have these opportunities to do good for the sake of our neighbor, that actually is loving the Lord. Like if we don't, I think sometimes in some circles in particular, it's like loving God becomes this like very vertical thing where it's like the only acts or works of loving God are prayer or Bible study or worship or those kind of like super spiritual things, right?
Okay.
And or not even super spiritual, but just spiritual things. And it's like, oh, well, that's loving God, and loving others is more of the horizontal things. It's like the feeding someone or giving someone clothes or, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's not the way Scripture looks at it. Scripture looks at it as they're intertwined. Like, if I don't love my neighbor, then I can't say that I love God.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I don't even know who my neighbors are.
Well, you may want to go meet them. And so...
I think I met him once when we had a garage sale.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but I haven't talked to him since.
Right. Well, and obviously we know Scripture, when it says neighbor, is not referring to just our physical neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Although I think it's good to know our physical neighbors as well. But it's not just the physical neighbors. It's just...
Well, if it helps, I don't know any other people. Other places either.
So. Right. You're like, well, I just don't know, talk to anybody, really. Yeah. Like, you just do this podcast, talk to me, and that's it.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Right. Well...
I told you a few weeks ago that I'd just sit here until you come back.
We need to get you out more, man.
Yeah. But I like it down here in my hole.
Well, they're just in the basement, just hanging out. Yeah. All right. So I think the way that Scripture looks at it. So, for example, the letter of 1 John, it is almost completely about this very thing.
About
of
works?
How works and of how loving God and loving others are intertwined and interconnected.
Okay.
And so I love this in chapter 4, verse 7 of 1 John. Dear friends, let us love one another because love is from God, and everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. The one who does not love does not know God because God is love. And so it's this constant, invoking of individuals to be able to love others, because it says in verse 10, love consists in this, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his son to be the atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, if God loved us in this way, we also must love one another.
Okay.
So again, it's that whole idea of, as I love others, I am expressing love to God as well. That it's not just this vertical expression.
Okay, but couldn't Christians only do things for others to try to love God? And like yes, they're doing something for somebody, but they're only doing it because they want, heaven points or whatever.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think there's two ways to look at it. Yeah, there's that aspect of it of like, okay, I'm doing it only to like try to make myself look good to God.
Right.
Right? Like, okay, so that's not the greatest thing ever, right? Like because you genuinely want to be able to love people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the other side of it is if I'm always just waiting for the feeling of love to then act. In other words,
what does that mean?
In other words, like I'm waiting to feel a sense of compassion or a sense of empathy toward others before I act in goodwill toward them.
Empathy is overrated.
Empathy is actually overrated.
Yeah.
But anyways, compassion is actually good.
Right.
And compassion is good. Empathy, my wife is actually reading a book right now called Toxic Empathy.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So, yeah. That's a whole nother topic we can talk about at some point in time. But
cool.
Yeah. And but I do think that we have to realize too that love is not a feeling or emotion primarily. Love is an action. Love is an act.
Okay.
And so here, when it says that, this is the way in verse 9, God's love has been revealed among us in this way, that God sent his one and only Son into the world so that we might live through him, that love consists in this, not that we loved God, but that he has loved us and sent his Son to be the sacrifice for our sins. My point being is that love is this sacrificial sense of I choose to give, I choose to love, I choose to do, to look after the well-being of another above myself.
Okay.
It's a choosing. And so my point is this, is that I think there's times where we know as Christians that we should do something. Like we should go and, help serve food or give out, clothing or whatever to the homeless or, for example, I used to be part of this outreach and we worked in a real low income area. We were out there a couple times a week and we were serving them with making sure they had food boxes and all that kind of stuff. Right. And just helping them with like basic needs. And so like we were going out there a couple times a week and there were times that it was like in Joseph, like I didn't want to go do it. Okay. I'd rather go be doing this or hanging out with this person or whatever it may be. But it was like, okay. And then you go and you kind of force yourself to go. And I do think there are times when we force ourselves to do something like that. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad. So I don't want to frame that love has to always be the sense of a feeling or an emotion. But I think what I would find is like I would, kind of force myself. I'm out there doing it. And then in the midst of it, you're experiencing this sense of, oh, man, but I really do love these people. I'm so glad I actually came to be able to express love, not just from self, but God's love toward them.
Well, that makes sense.
And so.
Because people do that in marriage all the time.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Right?
100%. I mean, and actually that's, that whole Ephesians 5 is built around that concept.
Right.
Of marriage. Of,
that's all the wedding vows.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't want to do this, you're going to do it.
Right. In sickness and in health, in rich and in poor. Right. And so, but yeah, like Ephesians chapter 5 is completely built, the idea of marriage is like, husbands, love yourself as Christ loved the church.
Right.
Willing to lay yourself down for her, Right. Yeah, that's that idea of I'm not waiting for this emotion to do it or feeling to do it. I choose to do it.
So, okay, so what about like people that like you just said that you would go like what okay, say I like go do a charity thing, but I'm really only there to hang out with friends that also work there.
Okay.
And I could give a shit about all the homeless people or whatever we're doing.
Right.
Like, is that good for, like, does God like that?
I think it's
just because it was an act of faith, but I'm there for all the wrong reasons.
I think if we were honest about it, right? Like if we were just honest to God about it, like just to say, hey, Lord, I'm going to do this. It's a good thing. I intellectually know it's a good thing, right?
Okay.
But the reality is I have no compassion. I have no care, really.
Right.
Toward these individuals.
So does God care about that work that I did? when I don't have compassion or love anyone and I'm doing it just for myself.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that 1 Corinthians 13, right? Like, if there's no love, it benefits me, it profits me nothing.
With God.
It doesn't, there's no act of faith. It doesn't please God,
Okay.
Again, I think God is always pleased with when his creation is cared for, right? In the sense of, like, he's glad that the individual who didn't have a coat now has a coat, right? Referring to the James passage earlier, right?
Do I have to be aware of the fact that I'm doing things in faith?
Aware of it?
Like, what if I just do stuff and it helps other people and I don't think about it in terms of, but I am a Christian and I just do stuff for other people and I never tie it to the fact that I'm supposed to.
Yeah,
or that,
I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does that count?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that, sorry, I'm going to a passage here. And yeah, I do think that we act in faith at times where we're not cognizant of it,
Okay.
Like, it's not like every moment of my life I'm going, oh, this is faith. Oh, this is faith. Oh, this is faith. But I probably can look back at that over the course of the day and go, oh, that was an act of faith. Oh, that was an act of faith.
Okay.
Right. Without really realizing it. So in my journal entries that I do, so when I spend time with the Lord.
You keep a journal?
Yeah. It's the way that I spend time with the Lord. And
in a journal?
Yeah.
A diary?
I have my own diary.
Dear diary.
It's me again.
Yeah.
Right. But no, I have this it's a prayer format that I use.
Okay.
And so it was so the founder of One Wish. So if you go to onewish.com, the founder of One Wish has this prayer methodology that he uses. Okay. And so
he created an organization called One Wish. Okay, keep going.
So, and anyway, sorry, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. All right. So anyway, there's this prayer format that I use, and in it, I reflect back on the previous day, and I look at, God, what did you do for me, in me, and through me?
Your whole job. Just write down anything you did for work yesterday.
Right. And just put that down there. Yeah. But so God, what did you do for me, in me, and through me? And I think what's amazing is when I look at the through me, often that's not actually just even job related. It's something else that happened outside of work or happened with my family or someone I interacted with just, at the ball fields, watching my son play baseball or whatever.
Okay.
And it's just those were moments of faith that I probably wouldn't have consciously thought of at the moment or at the time going, oh yeah, look at me really acting out in faith right now.
Okay.
But yet there was still faith involved in it because it's now become part of my life, So I'm living, so as Romans, 1, so let me pull up Romans real quick. So, as Romans 1 would say in verse 17, the righteous will live by faith.
Okay.
And so you start to live that way. And it's not necessarily this necessarily conscious thought of it all the time. It's just, but when I look back on it, reflect back on it, yeah, I was acting in faith, moving in faith here, and here, and here. So,
man, there are so many verses that you just are for this conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, here's a verse that talks about that.
Yeah.
Eat it. Yeah.
Well, but I think that's the New Testament. So when you're talking about faith and you're talking about works, this is where the New Testament's living, right? I mean, this is where, in other words, so much of the New Testament is just about this.
Because we can't just murder animals and light them on fire anymore, which would have been easier.
But even those moments of you're referring back to the Old Testament saints, right?
Or the law.
Yeah, or the law.
Yeah.
Right? But even those things had to be acted out in faith. So faith was not void of those things. And so, still I'll just stay here in Romans.
Okay.
Right? And so this is what Romans chapter 4 says.
Oh, are we getting to that thing that you wanted to get to this whole time?
No, I'll get there in a minute, maybe, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right, but there's just so much. But yeah, I mean, well, we're in Romans. So that's good. I think that's one of the things I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
And so in Romans chapter 4, verse 2, it says, if Abraham was justified by works, he has something to boast about, but not before God. For what does the scripture say? Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him for righteousness. Now to the one who works, pay is not credited as a gift, but as something owed. But to the one who does not work, but believes on him who justifies the ungodly, his faith is credited for righteousness. And then it goes on to say, likewise, David, ... And so it's speaking here about how faith is credited to Abraham for righteousness' sake.
Okay.
And so even in the Old Testament, then, whether it's Abraham, whether it's David, you still have the reality that yes, they are following the law and that kind of thing, but faith is still the faith has to be at the crux of it all.
Okay.
Because without faith, as I said, quoting from Hebrews 11, nothing pleases God. And then in Hebrews 11, it follows that up. So nothing, apart from faith, nothing pleases God. And then it goes on to list all of these Old Testament saints and what they did in faith. So,
okay.
Yeah. So yes, I know you like the works. Not the idea of like here's the law.
Yeah.
Here's the things I got to do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But even in that, there was faith involved.
Okay. Are there some works that are unacceptable by God for me to do?
Oh, there's some works that are unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like things that are just like blatant sin. Is that what you're talking about?
Sure.
That are not okay with God? Well, sure.
Okay. So.
I mean, if that's what you're, is that what you're asking?
Right. Well, the last question I asked you if there was a list of stuff that he said to do.
Right.
So now I'm just kind of asking, is there a list of stuff that he said not to do?
Yeah, okay.
For other people.
Right.
Like, what if I knew that someone was abusing someone else? Can I go beat them up? Is that a work of faith?
Oh, okay. No, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like
that's not a work of faith.
What if I go burn down a child trafficking brothel ring? Is that a work of faith?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so if you're...
What if it's not just ladling soup to homeless people? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
and it's like, yeah.
All right, so I'm making sure I'm understanding the question. Because you're saying, all right, there's things that seem to be for the good of people.
Right.
But that cross an ethical or moral line?
Right.
Or...
What if I'm like a terrorist on behalf of Christ?
Okay, no.
You know what I mean?
No, don't be a terrorist on behalf of Christ.
Okay.
That's just terrible and horrible.
Not really a terrorist, but like a crusader.
We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that either.
Okay.
So, but, no, I don't.
That's a good example.
The Crusades?
The Crusades.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I murder other religions?
Right.
Is that an act of faith?
All for Christ?
All for Christ.
Yeah. What was it? We got caught up in that phrase. Yeah. You were like, for Christ.
Yeah.
Like, you thought you could just do anything as long as it was
right.
For Christ.
For Christ.
Yeah. No, this is no, you can't do that. I mean, there's not like this like blank, check that's like, well, yep, you just go do whatever as long as it's quote unquote for Christ.
Okay.
No, like that's one of the one of the things that we are as Christians is that we're not supposed to engage in like the Crusades even, right? Like that's a black eye on Christianity.
According to you.
Yeah, according to me. And so, but no, we're not supposed to start engaging in like violence on behalf of Christ.
Okay. What about like Martin Luther? Like going against the entire church. Was that an act of faith? A work of faith or whatever?
100% it was a work of faith.
Okay.
But
it was not.
But it wasn't like he was creating, it wasn't like he was like in.
He created an entire rebellion.
He did create a whole entire.
Broke away from, the church. Like,
Correct.
Is that a work of faith?
Correct. I actually believe it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason being is because, but Martin Luther didn't go into it with the intent of leading a bunch of people away from the Catholic Church.
Okay.
That was actually not his intent. The whole, we call it a Reformation for a reason. The whole idea was for it to reform the Catholic Church. Okay. And so what Martin Luther was doing was saying, basically, here's the grievances I have against the Catholic Church, right? So you take the thesis, nail them up on a door in Germany at a small little church, and it gets grabbed, copied, published, produced, not by Luther, but by others, and then it becomes widespread, but it's, obviously accredited to Luther because he's the one who wrote it. And so it leads to this massive movement. But what Luther's doing is calling out the corruption that existed in the Catholic Church in that day and time.
I think I'm just trying to figure out what are works of faith other than working in a soup kitchen.
Okay.
And donating cans to the canned food drive.
Right. Okay.
Because that's all anyone talks about.
I got you. And
nobody talks about anything else.
Okay. No, it's fair.
If you could say, hey, what can I do? And they're like, well, come on Wednesday. We're handing out food to homeless people. And that's it. That's all they tell you.
Right. Right. But okay. So let me frame this in a few different ways. Okay. A few different situations. All right. There's the things that you can do to get involved with your local church, like you're talking about, right? Which, which
I don't want to do.
Right.
Which is why
so you're looking for other options.
I'm looking for other options.
Right. So there's like the connecting with a local church or like a local ministry where you are doing things like building wheelchair ramps for the elderly or handing out, clothes to those who are in need. Like we work with a foster care agency to make sure foster kids have what they need, Okay. And so like there's those kind of things. I think that's kind of things you're talking about. Like,
why don't foster kids? Oh, wait. If you're a foster kid, does that mean that you have foster parents currently or that you're just in a system where you're available?
Either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, but what will happen is there are times where like children get placed into foster care with like family, relatives, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens like immediately. Like there's no prep. There's no, in other words, we got to get them out of this environment that's not safe.
And go straight to somewhere else. And can't bring any of your stuff.
Right. Or maybe they don't have anything.
Okay.
So like I know of a situation that just like literally just happened and, kids had to be taken away. Like it was just, mom's in rehab, dad goes to prison, kids taken away, like placed immediately in our family. And these kids literally have the clothes they're wearing on their back. That's all they have.
Were they cool clothes?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And so what this other ministry does is they connect with the family and that family can contact them and they can go to this place and get clothes for their children, or these new kids, book bags, school supplies, whatever, so that they have all, food, whatever it may be, toys, stuffed animals, right? Like children's books. They get all this stuff like toothbrushes, whatever, all that kind of stuff, toiletries. They get everything in like one place that they would possibly need to help them just get going now that they're fostering these kids,
Okay.
So there's things that are happening like that, that we as a church partner with, that we have, we do a lot of things with that kind of group, with another group that works with, with elderly or disabled. And then we do the things like helping with food, that kind of stuff. Right. Like, so I think those are the things you're thinking about that are kind of the normal stuff that the local church helps with.
Which I don't like because they always talk about charities and how all the people take all the money from it. And like when you buy soup, only one SpaghettiO goes towards breast cancer and the rest of it is profits for the company. And you know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
and I think that's why we love partnering. We love partnering with local ministries that we know personally.
Okay.
Because then you're dealing oftentimes with individuals that don't have a lot of overhead.
Are the people who run it poor? Because that's the only way I give to those charities.
The people that run it live on a shoestring.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, just honestly. And because they don't have, like, they're running it, and it's not a for-profit business.
Right.
And
they're never for-profit business.
Well, that's true. They never are. But the people we work with, we know, we've, vetted all that kind of stuff.
Someone's investing something somewhere.
Oh, sure. I mean, Yeah, you got to. Well, they got to invest. Somebody got to invest into them for them to be able to do this.
I mean, someone's got a secret account, in Qatar or wherever they do that now.
Yeah, well,
I just don't trust it. Anyway, I just want to do stuff around.
Yeah,
well, not my neighborhood, I guess, but
just, you don't know your neighbors.
But just somewhere not through other people.
Right.
I don't want other people. I don't like it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to do my work of faith and then rely on other people to do their correct work of faith for my work of faith to count. And I don't want people stealing my money either.
Okay, that's the bigger issue. But yeah, because obviously you can have an active faith or work of faith with people that aren't doing the same thing, and they could even be stealing or whatever behind the scenes, but it doesn't discount what you're doing, right?
Sure.
I mean, you may not like it. I don't understand that, but then I think the other part of that. So there's the things you do locally. There's the things that go on like on like an international level scope. Like our church going and working in Mayan villages in Guatemala, or serving small local churches in Colombia.
Right.
Or
we've talked about that, and I don't like that either. So
yeah. I know, because you don't want to go to any of those places. And so
just send them money.
Yeah, I know. and
although then the same thing will happen.
Well,
same problem.
Thankfully, not with the groups we work with. But and we partner with a ministry in Thailand that helps individuals and get out of human trafficking, go through the rehab and all that kind of stuff. So like there's those things. But then I think the thing you're actually talking about is there a way to engage with these kind of things just in my day-to-day life?
Yes.
And I think that actually is like the most yes, and yes.
Okay.
And so but I think and this may be the challenge for Nate, is that he has to get out there, be around people.
Hey, I go do stuff sometimes
to see need, it's like, so there's a quote and,
look, need.
Yeah. So there's a quote that's often attributed to John Piper, but he was actually quoting somebody else. But Piper said, quoting, I can't remember the individual's name. Piper said that, quote this other individual, you can find like the will of God, where you discover like where need of the world connects with the joy that you have in your heart. In other words, the things that bring you joy, and when they connect with need, okay, that's like where for you can connect in there and be part of the will of God in serving and helping others. Okay. And so, I mean, like for you with, I mean, you can do things like, videography kind of stuff, right? So like, hey, what would that look like to offer your skill set
for free?
For free, right? I mean, that's what you were talking about, right? For free or at a massive discount or whatever.
Yeah.
To someone else, to actually help them with their needs,
Okay.
And so, what would that look like, right?
It would look like me working for free.
It would. It would, but if that was causing you joy and connecting with need, then it's a win-win.
Okay,
right. That's my point. And it's using things you just naturally know how to do. And I think that's for any of us. Like the things that we naturally like, we have skill sets and things or whatever. Like we can just connect with people. I mean, to be honest with you, one of the things that I'm pretty good at is talking with people. Right. I like talking.
I guess
I like talking.
I wouldn't know.
I like listening, and so if
you?
Yeah, well, sometimes, and I try, and so for me, the like I kind of try to keep an ear out for or an eye out. I'm looking when I'm out places, looking around, going, man, is there someone that just needs that? I can just feel like they just need some encouragement.
Okay,
they just need someone just to talk to, just to be friendly to them, right? To acknowledge them.
Okay.
And so I think there's all kind of different things that we can do that are beyond just the soup kitchen, food pantry kind of thing.
Well, why is that the only thing anyone ever brings up at church?
Well, hopefully there's more than that being brought up at church.
Just soup kitchen.
I do think.
And then you get there and there's no soup. It's always something else. But they call it a soup kitchen.
That's true. It's always something else, right? Yeah. It's the grilled cheese without the soup. And you're like, man,
where's the soup?
Where's the soup with the grilled cheese?
Couldn't just make tomato?
Right.
It's so cheap.
And man, grilled cheese.
And you can water it down so you can feed more homeless.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. And yeah, so I think that's one of those just
Fill 'em
tangible
up with water and bread.
Well, you don't want to give them just water and bread. That's rough.
Anyway,
yeah. But yeah, so I do think there's a lot of things in churches, but I don't disagree with you. I think that's one of those things that's a tangible thing for a church to do, to partner with another group that's doing that, right? That's not a bad thing. And so, but I think there's a lot of other opportunities out there for us as local churches to, again, you partner with different organizations for different things, for different needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are the works that I do they have to benefit God or God's kingdom on earth in order to be a work of faith? Do they have to benefit that directly? Or can it be something that is like I don't know, like I gave a kid all my old Legos or something.
Sure, that's awesome.
Like that has nothing to do with Jesus or God or benefit him at all.
Okay, but all right, so yeah, and I think that's kind of part where it's like I was talking about earlier, like where we have to like disconnect a little bit between loving God and loving others, you know?
Okay.
And that to love God, it seems like it has to be directly spiritual or connected to something spiritual.
Okay.
But
I didn't realize that this question was that answer.
But if I love others, then I'm also going to love God, right?
So it's benefiting God.
Yeah.
Does that benefit God?
I don't know if it's benefiting God, but it's something that he looks at and is like, oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Like toward you, like, you know, because like I know like my kids, like they've received things, you know, from older kids, right? They like whether it was here's some Legos or here's some man, this was really cool. My youngest son had just gotten into collecting baseball cards.
Okay.
And we were at this card store in our community, and we were just there. We were, you know, my youngest son was like opening up cards, and this guy was there, and he was like, just looked over at me and was like, hey, would your son like just, you know, a bunch of, you know, just extra baseball cards? And I was like, sure. And he was like, well, I have all these cards I'd love just to give your son. And never met this guy, don't know this guy.
What's wrong with him?
And, you know,
what'd you coat him with?
And so he was like, well, you know, come by my house sometime and I'll just give you all this, you know, these cards and stuff. And I know. You're like, no.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, anyway, so the card owner,
don't worry, sir. You don't have to come. Your son can just come over and grab them.
Right. And that would never happen. But anyway, so I ended up going over to this guy, and he gave my youngest son, I mean, like 1,000+ baseball cards. Like it was insane. Just because he wanted to. Like he had all of these extra cards. He was like really big into collecting like the big cards, the expensive cards, that kind of stuff.
They make bigger cards?
Well, like the more expensive cards, valuable cards,
okay.
Right? Not like bigger in size, but
that's a poster.
That's not a baseball card at all. But anyway, and so we got all of these like cards, and my son was like ecstatic, and he still talks about how awesome that was, mm-hmm. that someone would do that, and it actually caused him to say, oh well, I want to give something to somebody else, and so like because he was so blessed by it anyway, and so anyway, yes.
like the drive-through.
Yeah, like
I hate when people do that. Just
why?
I'm stupid.
I'm here to pay for myself. Yeah, man. Right. Like, yeah.
No, I don't want to pay. No, I
don't want to pay for the order.
I just get out of line and don't do it.
Right.
Just like, I don't even want my food anymore.
I'm a single person. Yeah. I don't want to pay for the minivan behind me.
Don't give me my food anymore. I'm out.
I get it. No, I get it.
I'm going to the next town.
Right. They're not so nice. Yeah. All right. But so I think so I do think things like that can be just absolutely awesome, and a way to bless someone else, and that can be, you know, something that the Lord looks at, smiles on, and is pleased with. And so,
wasn't there a movie about this? About that?
About the whole pay it forward thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was the worst era of time to be a Christian. That was the worst time in history to be a Christian.
You know where I saw that movie?
Where?
For the first time I ever saw that movie?
At a soup kitchen?
No. I was serving, I mentioned this before, I was serving as a chaplain at Metro State Prison. and in Atlanta, and they
played that to prisoners.
Yes, and so that was the first time
10 people hung themselves that night in their cells, and it wasn't Hillary Clinton.
No. And yeah, so that was the first time I watched that movie. Was there
in a prison.
In a prison,
and everyone was looking at you like, "What the fuck is this?" You couldn't just bring Die Hard or something, you dick.
Yeah, no, that's what the chaplain of the prison chose.
And then
the
next day, everyone at the food line was handing their trays back to each other. You can have mine. Oh, you can have stupid. I never saw that movie.
Yeah. But you're just going to rip it apart.
Yeah.
No, it was actually a pretty good movie. It's inspiring.
Whatever.
It's inspiring, my man.
Okay, how often do I need to do a faith work?
Okay, how often? There's not like a time thing where it's like, you need to do it this many times a day or this many times a week or month or whatever.
Okay.
No, not like that.
Do you have any Bible verses that say that?
That say that it's not about the amount of work that you do?
Yeah.
So Scripture doesn't really talk about quantity versus quality kind of stuff. Okay. Like, in other words, like, it's not like doing, how many good things do I need to do, right? Now, obviously, like, passages like Isaiah 58 will say you can do all of these, you could do all these quote unquote spiritual things, but if you're not doing the good works, like caring for the poor, caring for the oppressed, that kind of stuff, then who cares about the quote unquote super spiritual things you're doing, right? Like, in that context is fasting. And so in other words, it is saying, good works does matter is what I'm getting to, right? Okay. Good works does matter.
So I have to do things for other people while starving.
Well, Isaiah 58 would say yes. And so fasting, not starving. Sounds better, right?
Right.
So I think really more than anything, it's about just being like eager to wanting to do good things, and being willing to do good works, for others. So again, I'm not saying it's all. I'm not saying that it's like you never have to do anything, because that would be, I guess, everything we've just talked about, right?
Okay.
Like works or faith does have to be supported by works and seen in our works. 1 Timothy 6:18 says, "Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share." So there is a sense of we actually want to do good, right? I mean, Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24 says, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds." And so there is a sense of like, we're called to do these good deeds. Does it have to be like a certain number a day? No. Or a certain number a month?
Okay.
No. But that we look for the opportunities, that we're not, lazy in our wanting to go and to do good.
Okay, so would it be bad if I thought about it that way? Like, I need to do my one good deed every day and then I can go to bed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if that was like a goal you set, like, I don't think that's necessarily wrong.
Okay.
To say, I'd like to do one good thing for someone else, or one thing that's going to bless somebody else every day. Like, cool. Like, but don't think like don't like look at it as going, so therefore I'm going to really earn something from God, or I'm being really spiritual, or like
I'm just being faithful.
Right, being faithful. Like, that's what I've decided that I want to do for the sake of others.
So that's fine.
That's completely fine.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good enough for me, man.
Good deal.
More works next time.
Fantastic.
Because I have more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I have more questions.
All righty.
The good question. I've been waiting for a question.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, this has been the When I Heard This Podcast. You can follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at When I Heard This Podcast, and X and locals at When I Heard This. Ring the notification bell. Tell everyone that you know about the show, and go to the website where there's t-shirts. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nate Robinson, and you can follow Joseph on Instagram at
Rev Joe T.
This has been the When I Heard This Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.